दिसते का ग? पीपीटी दिसते?
हो मॅम, दिसतीये.
काय टायटल सांगा बघू.
Evolution of heart in vertebrates.
हा, करेक्ट. लास्ट टाइम we discussed aortic arches. Now we start unit number, paper number 9 and unit number 5. Paper name Comparative Anatomy of Vertebrates and title of the topic Evolution of Heart in Vertebrates. An introduction. In vertebrate heart is built in accordance with the basic architectural plan. In vertebrate, it is a sac-like muscular organ and comprising series of chambers that receives blood from veins and pumps it through the arteries. Deoxygenated blood, which is collected by veins, and oxygenated blood, which is pumped or supplied to all body parts through the arteries. Then heart, the embryonic condition, there is a only tube, and this tube then divided into chambers. So this divided into single chambered heart, two chambered heart, three chambered heart, and four chambered heart. So single chambered heart, it is only found in the cephalochordata, for example, amphioxus. In amphioxus, instead a part of ventral aorta below pharynx, it becomes muscular and contractile, which is called heart. Not specific organ heart is present in amphioxus. It is a ventral aorta below pharynx becomes a muscular and contractile part. It is called as a heart. Then from the lower chordate to higher chordate. In lower chordate, or it is also called primitive chordate. Then higher chordate means pisces, amphibia, reptile, bird, mammal. So there is a progressive modification of the heart. Which are the points? So first one, in embryonic condition, there is a presence of cardiac tube. This cardiac tube forms chambers, and these chambers are due to the constrictions. Then each chamber then also divided into two separate chambers due to the partition formation. For example, auricle, in between auricle there are partition. In ventricle also there is a partition. In auricle it is called interauricular septum. In ventricle, interventricular septum. Like this way, each chamber divided into two separate chambers due to the partition. And heart gradually shift from head region to the thoracic cavity. For example, in fish and also in amphibia, heart is present near to the head region. Then due to the neck formation, then it transfers towards the thoracic region. Then two-chambered heart. Only in amphioxus or cephalochordate, there is a single-chambered heart. And in cyclostomes, for example, pectromyzon, myxine, in this there is a presence of two-chambered heart. In cyclostomes, cyclo means circular, stoma means mouse. This example for this, there is a petromyzon and myxine. In myxine and petromyzon, heart shows linear series of four chambers. In that, sinus venosus, atrium or auricle, ventricle, and small conus arteriosus, and through which blood flows in the sequence. Then elasmo branch. Elasmo branch means, for example, shark or dogfish. So we see first in the diagram. This is the heart of dogfish or scalidon. So this showing shape like a S-shaped structure. So heart, first part is the sinus venosus. Sinus venosus formed by the vein, cardinal vein, and these two veins together unite and there is a formation of open into the sinus venosus. Sinus venosus open into auricle by sino-auricular aperture. This is the opening, it is called sino-auricular aperture. Then auricle, this is the auricle, thin and elastic in nature. This auricle open into the ventricle by auriculoventricular aperture, or controlling, or it is presence of, there is a valve. These valves are called auriculoventricular valve. Then ventricle, it is thick and muscular. This ventricle then opens into the conus arteriosus, and this conus arteriosus then two sides opens into the aortic arches. Last time we learned this aortic arches, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, like this. These are the aortic arches. This pass this blood towards the gills, and from gills it collected. Last time we discussed afferent and efferent. These are the afferent aortic arches. This supply blood to the gill, then efferent collected from the gill, and these are supplied to all body parts. So this is the scolion heart, which is covered by pericardium layer. Outer layer, it is called as a pericardium. Inside them there is a presence of pericardial fluid. So this is the lateral view showing S-shaped structure. In that, this is the sinus venosus. The sinus venosus open into the auricle by the valve is also present. It is called sino-auricular valve. Then auricle, it is thin, elastic. This auricle open into the ventricle. Valve is guarded. It is called as auriculoventricular valve, and opening is called aperture. Then ventricle, it is thick and muscular, and this ventricle opens into the dorsal. This is the conus arteriosus, and this conus arteriosus, it divides into the aortic arches. These are the aortic arches collect venous blood. So this scolion blood heart is called venous heart because it collect venous heart, and it circulation is single. This collected blood pass only once times, so it is called single circulation. And this deoxygenated or venous blood pass towards this aortic arches. These are called afferent aortic. Then pass to the gills, and from gill it collected by the efferent, and from efferent then pass towards the all body parts. So this is the lateral view. Then this is the view, ventral view. These are the two veins, cardinal veins. This is formation of this sinus venosus. The sinus venosus, this cardinal vein formation open into the auricle. This is the auricle, then ventricle, and this is the conus arteriosus. So this is the ventral view. Lateral side there are the veins, cardinal vein, ventricle, auricle, and conus arteriosus. So this heart is scolion heart. We see in the description, the heart is S-shaped. It is form of two chambers, mainly auricle and ventricle. These are the two chambers, and another two chambers are another chamber, sinus venosus and conus arteriosus. These are the accessory organs. So these chambers are not true chambers, but they are accessory chambers of true heart. Only deoxygenated blood pass through the two-chamber heart. The blood enters through the sinus venosus and leaves the heart through the conus arteriosus. This blood from heart is carried to the gills for oxygenation or purification, and this type of circulation is called single type of circulation. So all blood passing only once through the heart, and heart is called venous heart. So this next we see also diagram. So this is the heart of scolion, S-shaped structure, sinus venosus, auricle, ventricle, then conus arteriosus. These are the aortic arches, and these are the dorsal and ventral. So this sinus venosus, through this blood is venous blood enter into the auricle, auricle to ventricle, ventricle to the conus arteriosus, then to the aortic arches, and this venous blood collected by heart, so it is called as a venous heart. So, and it is, these are the auricle and ventricle, these are the only true chambers, and sinus venosus and conus arteriosus, these are the accessory organs or accessory chambers. Then in the teleost, or for example bony fishes, so conus is present in the scalidon, it is elongated, but in the bony fishes it is reduced and it fuses with the ventricle, and only there is a presence of semilunar fall. In the scalidon there are falls are present, but in the only bony fishes there is a single pair of semilunar falls are present. Conus becomes greatly enlarged and thick muscular walls, and it is called as a bulbous arteriosus. So we see in the diagram. So this is the heart of dogfish. ऐकायला येते का सगळ्यांना? हॅलो, येते ना? हा, समजते का? आता पहिली डायग्राम बघा. डायग्राम काढताना अशा उलट्या डायग्राम काढायचे, म्हणजे तुम्हाला थेअरीच्या वेळेला वेळ जास्त जायला नको म्हणून अशा डायग्राम दाखवायचे. जरी तशा दाखवले तरी चालतील, मग वेळ जास्त जातो. आता कंपॅरिझन साठी समजा फिश अँड डिप्नॉय किंवा एम्फिबिया असेल तर डायग्रामला वेळ जाणार, अशा डायग्राम काढायचे उलट्या. So this is the first one, hepatic sinus and common cardinal. There is a formation of sinus venosus. Sinus venosus open into the auricle by guarded by a wall which is called as a sino-auricular wall. Then this is the auricle. Auricle opens into the ventricle, and these are the wall, auricular ventricular wall. This is the ventricle, it is muscular, and this ventricle open into the conus arteriosus. In that conus arteriosus there are three pairs of valve, and then joins to the aortic arches, and this is the ventral aorta. So there are about 6 aortic arches are present in the dogfish. Then in the teleost or bony fish, same sinus venosus, how it is formed? Cardinal vein and hepatic sinus together form sinus venosus. Sinus venosus open into the auricle. By opening it is called sino-auricular opening, and valve is present, it is called sino-auricular valve. Then this auricle opens into the ventricle by valve, it is called sino-auricular auriculo-ventricular valve. In this also there is a presence of ventricle, thick in nature, there is a no partition in between them, or auricle single, ventricle single. Then this is the semilunar valve. In dogfish there are 3 pairs valves, semilunar, but in bony fishes or teleost there is a single semilunar valve. In conus arteriosus there is a muscular inflate-like structure, and this like a balloon-like structure, and it is called as a bulbous arteriosus. It is found only in the bony fish. So these are the 2-chambered heart, 1 auricle, 1 ventricle. In this side also bony fish, 1 auricle, 1 ventricle. There is a difference between only conus arteriosus consisting 3 semilunar valve, and bony fishes there is presence of single semilunar valve. Then inflate balloon-like structure, it is called bulbous arteriosus. In dogfish only it is called conus arteriosus. So this is the presence of second teleost. Conus is much reduced. It fuses with the ventricle. It consisting single pair of semilunar valve. Then conus becomes greatly enlarged with thick muscular walls. It is called bulbous arteriosus. It is elastic and inflates like a balloon when the ventricle contract. So these are only dogfish or elasmobranch and teleost or bony fish consisting 2-chambered heart. Then 3-chambered heart or transitional heart. For example, in the dipnoid fish, amphibia, frog, reptiles, except crocodile. Crocodile have a 4-chambered heart. This consisting dipnoid, amphibia, reptile, this consisting 3-chambered heart, 2 auricle and 1 ventricle. 2 auricles are separated by interauricular septum. In dipnoid, the interauricular septum perforated by incomplete foramen ovae. Then this result in mixing of oxygenated blood which is received from the lung, and these are poured into the left auricle, and deoxygenated blood from the rest of the body into the right auricle. So interventricular septum also divides ventricle, and in this dipnoi there is a formation of uh, new pulmonary circulation. So we see first in the diagram. So this is the dipnoi fish. Dipnoi fish. So the sinus venosus, how sinus venosus is formed? Pre-caval and post-caval. It opens into the right auricle by a opening. So there is a new circulation is formed. It is called as a pulmonary circulation. And these are when there is a lungs are found, then lungs are formed. At that time, pulmonary circulation is formed. So the sinus venosus open into the right auricle by sino-auricular aperture. Then this is the right side right auricle. In between them there is a partition, and central portion there is a hole. It is called as a foramen ovae. And due to this there is a mixed blood is formed. In right auricle, venous blood. In left auricle, blood is collected by lungs, and this oxygenated blood which is poured into the left auricle. So in between right auricle and left auricle there is a hole, and due to this hole this blood is mixed blood, and mixed blood, then this blood enters into the right ventricle, pure blood or venous blood, and this is the pure blood. In between them there is also presence of partition, and this is called incomplete interventricular septum. Also anterior side in auricle, incomplete interventricular septum. Then upper side there is a conus arteriosus is present. It consisting two pair of semilunar valve, and at the anterior end there is a ventral aorta. This ventral aorta divided into the aortic arches. So these are the aortic arches. So in Scalidon, in bony fish, there is a directly sinus venosus open into the auricle posterior side. But in the dipnoi fish, there is a formation of lung and pulmonary circulation. Blood is purified in the lung, and this purified blood transferred through the pulmonary vein into the left auricle, then towards the left ventricle, and carry towards the ventral or this conus arterios to ventral aorta. And this mixed blood, because of this in central there is a partition is not complete. In between them there is a partition is present, but partition is not complete, and this mixed blood is supplied to all body part. So these are found only in the dipnoi fish or also in the lung fishes. Then so we can see the description in dipnoi, amphibians and reptiles. Heart consists three chambers, namely two auricle and one ventricle. Two auricles are separated by interauricular septum. In dipnoi, interauricular septum which is perforated by incomplete foramen ovae, and this result is in a mixing of oxygenated blood received from lung into the left auricle, and deoxygenated blood from the rest of the body into the right auricle. So interventricular septum also divides the ventricle, and in the dipnoi also new pulmonary circulation develop or aerated blood from the lung. Then in amphibia also three-chambered heart. It is also more advanced than the Pisces heart. Sinus venosus opens into the right atrium or auricle, instead posterior. Interauricular septum is also complete. This keeps the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood separate. Ventricle is single, but thick muscular wall raised into the trabecular, permitting only little mixing of the blood. We see in the diagram. So this is the heart of frog. We see this type of diagram, also another type. So these are the, this is the frog heart internal structure. In that, this is the right auricle, this is the left auricle. In this side, opening of pulmonary vein, pulmonary collected blood from the lung, and this is the blood is the pure blood. Then this side there is a right auricle, there is a sinus venosus opening in this side. Sinus venosus opens into this right auricle. Then this is the truncus arteriosus. In dogfish it is called conus arteriosus. In frog it is called truncus arteriosus. So this truncus arteriosus, then auricle opens into the ventricle by a valve. It is called auriculoventricular valve. In this cell also auriculoventricular valve. Then this, in between two auricle there is a partition. This partition it is called as a interauricular septum. Interauricular septum. Then from this ventricle, ventricle is thick muscular, and this muscular it is showing this trabecule. These are elevations, these are called fissure and trabecule. Due to this trabecule, or it is also called columni corni, the blood from the left side pure blood, blood from the right side impure blood, and this mixed blood is supplied to the body through this truncus arteriosus. In truncus arteriosus there is a spiral fall is present. This spiral fall divided this aorta, conus aorta or truncus aorta into the two cavum pulmocutaneum and also cavum aorticum. In the left side there is a pure blood carried from the pulmonary vein, and this left side then transfer blood to the ventricle, left ventricle. In this side there is a pure blood, and right auricle there is a impure blood which is collected by sinus venosus. This blood transfer into the right ventricle. In the right ventricle there is a mixed blood is present, and this mixed blood is supplied to the, carried towards the truncus arteriosus. अरे समझते का?
Yes, ma'am. समजतंय मॅम.
हा, ह्या पण डायग्राम आणि दुसऱ्या पण डायग्राम दिलेले आहेत मी, त्यामुळे दोन्हीकडे लक्ष ठेवा. आता हा कोनस आर्टेरियोसस आहे बघा इथे. कोनस आर्टेरियोसस, इन दॅट देयर इज अ प्रेझेन्स ऑफ स्पायरल फॉल. So this spiral fall divided into the conus. These are the two parts, two chambers. Cavum pulmocutaneum, which carry blood towards the lung for purification, and skin. Cutaneum means skin, and cavum aorticum means aorta. So left and right systemic aorta, which supply mixed blood to the all body parts. Next we see in this diagram. So this is the, in amphibia there are order Urodela and Anura. So in Urodela, for example in the salamander. So this is the heart showing right side, right auricle. In that there is an opening of sinus venosus. How sinus venosus is formed? Two precaval, this side, and one postcaval. So these sinus venosus form collection of precaval and postcaval, collected venous blood or impure blood from the all body parts, and there is a formation of sinus venosus. Sinus venosus open into the right side, right auricle, by sino-auricular aperture, and this right auricle, it only presence of there is a impure blood or deoxygenated blood. But in the left side, pulmonary vein, which collect blood from the lung, and this blood is oxygenated blood, and these are poured into the left auricle. In between them there is a incomplete interauricular septum. So there is a mixed blood is present. In ventricle there is no partition, two auricle and one ventricle, so three chambered heart. So ventricle, it is thick muscular, but there is no partition. Only in this right auricle, left auricle, there is a mixed blood, then transferred towards the ventricle, and from this ventricle, these are transferred towards the aorta. This aorta, it is called bulbous aorta. In the fish, it is called conus arteriosus. In bony fish, it is also called bulbous arteriosus. In conus arteriosus in diploid fish. In also Urodila amphibia, it is also called bulbous arteriosus. And these are the aortic arches, 3, 3rd, 4th, 6th. These are aortic arches are found in the Urodila order in amphibia. The next one is the diagram showing this. I can repeat this again. In Urodila, then we see description first. In Anura, Anurans, Anura is the order. In Anura, amphibia first class. In amphibia, heart is advanced than the Piscean heart, means fish heart. Sinus venosus open into the right auricle, and it is open in fishes. It opens posteriorly, but in open amphibian in dorsally. There is a formation of interauricular septum. It is complete. No, there is a hole. Foramen ovale is not present. This keeps the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood separate. Due to the partition between auricle, this blood left side, which is collected from the lung by the pulmonary vein, and these are found, poured into the left auricle, and impure blood, which is the open poured into the right auricle, and these are completely separated by partition. It is called as a interauricular septum. This keeps the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood separate. Then ventricle is single, but it is thick muscular wall. It raised into the these are elevations are showing, and these are called trabecular or columni corni, and this permitting only little mixing of blood, of mixing of two blood means oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and this blood is supplied to the all body part. So in the urodeals it is also similar, but only there is a conus is reduced by bulbous arteriosus. Then in frog, anura means frog. So left ventricle on its side anterior dorsal margin conus arteriosus arises, which divided by spiral wall. In conus arteriosus there is a presence of spiral wall, and this which directs deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary vessel and oxygenated blood into the systemic vessel. So oxygenated blood carried towards the systemic aorta, and to systemic aorta, then there is a mixed blood is supplied to body parts. Then conus arteriosus, it is called as the lumen, internal part of the conus arteriosus, it is called as a phalangium. Where there is a spiral wall is present, it is called phalangium. Spiral wall attached to the dorsal side and free or other three faces, and this divides cavum pulmocutaneum and cavum aorticum. We see in this diagram also. So this is the conus arteriosus, or it is called also truncus arteriosus, and this is the spiral wall, and this lumen it is called as the phalangium, and this divide is into two. So one is the cavum pulmocutaneum and another one is the cavum aorticum. So cavum pulmocutaneum direct impure blood to the lungs and also skin, and aorticum is systemic aorta, or oxygenated blood towards the dorsal aorta. So systemic aorta. So this is the, and next we see then reptiles. In the reptiles there are also three-chambered heart, and it is also advanced than the amphibian. In reptiles also there is a presence of two auricle and two ventricle. For example, in the some of these, for example, in the crocodile, two auricle and two ventricles are present. Reptilian heart partially four-chambered, two auricle and two incomplete ventricle. In sometimes it is called a 3.5 chambered heart. And this partial mixing of arterial or pure and impure blood before the distribution. So they represent, or these are called as a transitional blood. In most reptiles, ventricle is partially divided by interventricular septum, which reduces the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. For example, in the crocodiles. So this is the heart of lizard. So it is also showing three-chambered heart, but this is the partition, incomplete interventricular septum or muscular ridge present in the ventricle. In lizard or reptile, there is a main example is the lizard. So auricle, there are auricle, the heart is covered by pericardium. Inside them there is a pericardial fluid, and this heart is how many chambers? Three-chambered heart. So sinus venosus opens into the right auricle, opening of pulmonary vein into the left auricle. This right side opens into the ventricle. It is called auriculoventricular aperture, and valves are called auriculoventricular valve. In this side also, like this way, auriculoventricular valve. So these are the, in between them there is a partition, and this separate blood is oxygenated blood in this side, left side, and right side impure blood which is collected by sinus venosus. And this side impure blood, this side pure blood, which is separated by partition, it is called as the interauricular septum. And so these are the two auricles or two atrium and single ventricle. Ventricle is thick muscular, these are the muscular ridges. In this muscular ridges, so blood from the left auricle transfer or poured into the left side. Blood from the sinus of right auricle into the right side of the ventricle. And due to this muscular ridge and this mixed blood, it is supplied towards the body part. These are the systemic aorta, and also pulmonary aorta is also formed. This pulmonary aorta, right side of the ventricle, collected blood impure and transferred towards the lung for purification. And left side, this aorta then collect blood from the pure blood, and one there is a impure blood, and this systemic aorta mixed blood is supplied to all body parts. So this is the lizard heart. We see in the first diagram. So this is the amphibian or anura sinus venosus. How it is formed? Two precaval and one postcaval. There is a formation of sinus venosus. This sinus venosus open into the right auricle. So pulmonary blood is collected by the lung. These are poured into the left auricle, and sinus venosus collected venous blood into the right auricle. So in between them there is a partition, and this complete partition, it is called interauricular septum. Then there is a valve, auricular ventricular valves are present. So these two auricles are completely separated in amphibia. Then ventricle, it is muscular thick, and in this muscular thick there are muscular ridges are formed. Then this is the spiral valve, conus arteriosus consisting the spiral valve, and the lumen of this it is called phalangium, and this there is a aortic arches. This conus arteriosus divided into pulmocutaneum and cavum aorticum. So this is the three-chambered heart, two auricle and one ventricle, and this mixed blood is supplied to the all body parts. Like this way, this is the reptile or in lizard. So this side pulmonary circulation, this side sinus venosus. Sinus venosus opens into the right auricle, and how it is formed? Two precaval, one postcaval. Collect from the body deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary vein, these are collected from the lung, pure blood, and open into the left auricle. And then there is a complete partition up to the auricle, and incomplete partition in between the ventricle. So then there is a also mixed blood is supplied So this is the pulmonary trunk. Pulmonary trunk opens through the right ventricle, and this collect impure blood. And this also there is a right aortic trunk. This right aortic trunk collected blood, pure blood, and this left aortic trunk collected blood from the right ventricle, and this mixed blood is supplied to all body part. So there are single right auricle, left auricle, incomplete. There is a ventricular septum and complete interauricular septum. But in ventricle there is a not complete septum. So mixed blood is supplied towards the body part. So there is a new in this frog there is a pulmonary aorta is not found, but in the lizard there is a formation of pulmonary trunk, and this pulmonary trunk carry impure blood towards the lung for purification. And this is the left aortic trunk also collect impure blood, and some pure blood and some impure blood. This mixed blood is supplied towards the body. But in the crocodile, reptile, there is a complete separation in between them. There is a complete separation, interauricular septum, also interventricular septum. So there is a two auricle, right side, right auricle, left side, left auricle. Right side opening of sinus venosus, left side opening of pulmonary vein. One side pure blood, one side impure blood. Then this transfer toward the right ventricle, impure blood, and pure blood towards the left ventricle. In that also there is a formation of pulmonary trunk, also left aortic trunk. Then left side there is a right aortic trunk, and so it is four chambered heart like a mammal. But when this left trunk and right trunk cross each other, in that there is a one hole, and this hole is called foramina panniza. And then this blood is mixed and then supplied towards the all body part, and it is only present in the crocodile. In crocodile there is a four chambered heart, interauricular septum is present, in ventricular septum is present, but fully blood is these are parties. Then this fully pure and impure blood is separated. But when these two aortic trunk cross each other, in that place there is a presence of hole in between them, and this blood is mixed. Mixed blood is supplied to the all body part. So it is found in the crocodile. So it is also called crocodile is called transitional heart. So we see in the crocodile four chambered heart having two auricle, two ventricle. Complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is not achieved. The right side, right and left systemic aorta carrying arterial and venous blood respectively joined to form dorsal aorta, in which the two blood get mixed before distribution. So beside a small opening called foramina panniza connecting the two aortae at their base brings about some mixing of blood. The sinus venosus is present in all reptiles, which opens into the right auricle. Then conus and ventral aorta of embryo becomes split in the adult into three trunks. Only there are pulmonary, right and left systemic. Last time we also discussed this. So it is found in the only crocodile. So crocodile called as a transitional heart. What is the meaning of transitional heart? A midway condition between two chambered heart of fish. In fish there are two chambered heart, but circulation is single, and four chambered heart of bird and mammal with also double circulation. So and it completes separation of arterial and venous blood. But in two chamber and four chamber, and in between them this heart is shown, so it is called as a transitional heart. So this is found in the crocodile. Then four chambered heart. अरे लक्ष आहे का तुमचं? हॅलो.
Yes, ma'am.
हा समजते का?
हो हो.
लक्षात
हो मॅम समजते.
हा किती जण आहेत का तेजू? आता किती प्रेझेंट आहेत? मला इथे दिसत नाही.
21, ma'am.
बर बर
22 आहेत. हा 21.
बर. आता लक्ष द्या, ह्याच्यावरती फुल क्वेश्चन विचारला जातो. फिश हार्ट कम्पेअर टू दी मॅमल हार्ट और amphibian heart compared to the reptile heart, like this way. So we compare up to the fish, then amphibia and reptile, and last one is the four chambered heart. We see single chambered, two chambered, three chambered, and last one is the four chambered heart. It is also called pulmonary heart. So this is the pulmonary heart, and it is found in the bird and mammal. So in bird and mammal, there is a completely divided ventricle and auricle, and their heart is completely four chambered, two auricle, two ventricle. Left auricle receives aerated blood from the lung and pours into the left ventricle, which pumps it to entire body through the systemic circulation. So we see in the diagram. So this is the heart, bird heart. So this side, this is the right precaval opening into right side. So there is no sinus venosus. Sinus venosus, it is present up to the reptile. Now this in the bird and mammal, sinus venosus is absent. Instead, there are directly opening into the right auricle by precaval. This is the right precaval. This is the left precaval, and this is the postcaval. Directly open into the right side of the right auricle, and left side there is opening of pulmonary veins. In pulmonary, there are in bird four pulmonary veins are present, and this opens into the uh, left side of the and collect blood from the lung, and it is pure blood which is poured into the left side. And right side, this blood is the impure blood or deoxygenated blood. Then this auricle opens into the ventricle by a opening. It is called as a auricular ventricular opening, and these are the valves are present. These valves are called tricuspid valve. These are the valve or tricuspid valves are called. One side or right side it is called tricuspid valve, and left side it is called bicuspid valve. These are the two valves. So the valves function prevent regurgitation of blood or backward flow of the blood. So these are the left side two valve, it is called bicuspid, and right side it is called tricuspid. Then this auricle opens into the ventricle through auriculoventricular aperture guarded by valve. It is called tricuspid valve or auriculoventricular valve. Then in between this auricle, there is a presence of partition. It is called interauricular septum. So due to this partition, one side pure blood and one side impure blood. There is no mixing in this blood. So in embryonic condition, there is a presence of hole in between them, and these are called fossa ovalis only in the embryonic condition, but there is a depression only remains in the adult condition. The next one is the ventricle. Ventricle, it is muscular ventricle, and this muscular ventricle, in between them also there is a presence of the interventricular septum. So in this left side, the left auricle pour this blood into the left ventricle. Right side, right auricle pour blood into the right ventricle. So right side there is a impure blood, and left side there is a pure blood. So blood is separated. So it is also called double circulation. Means once time this blood is passed towards this body parts. So this and these are blood is separated by in auricle there is interauricular septum, and in ventricle interventricular septum. And these are the thread-like this thread-like part. It is called as a chordae tendon. These are found in the amphibia, reptile, and also mammal, bird, and mammal. And these are the papillary muscles found in the heart of bird. So this is the bird heart, and this is the pulmonary aorta, which opens in the right side of the right ventricle, and this collect blood, impure blood, and transfer towards the uh, lung for purification. Then there is a systemic aorta. In bird, there is a right systemic aorta which opens through the left side and collect blood from the left ventricle, and it uh, supplied to the all body part. So one side only systemic aorta is present in bird, right side. In mammal, there is a left side. So this is the bird heart. Next, then rabbit heart or mammal heart. So this is the auricle, and this is the left auricle. This is the right auricle. This is the left auricle. In between them, there is a partition. It is called interauricular septum. This is also interventricular septum. In this side, there is a wall is present. This is the opening of precaval, and these are controlled by or guarded by wall. It is called as the Eustachian wall. And this side there is a impure blood is present, and this side pulmonary vein opens into this collect blood from the lung, pure blood. And left auricle there is pure blood, right auricle there is a impure blood. Then there is like similar like this auriculoventricular aperture is present. This side also tricuspid wall, this side bicuspid wall. Then chordae tendineae, papillary muscle, these are also similar to the bird, and then between them there is a partition, interventricular septum. So then also coronary sinus. Coronary sinus means blood is collected which is open into the heart, and it is called blood collected from the heart. It is brought to the auricle by coronary sinus in the right auricle. So then opening of sinus is guarded by coronary wall. Coronary sinus which is guarded by coronary wall. Then inner surface of right auricle wall is marked by small depression. It is called as Thepsian or Thepsian foramina. And interauricular septum, it is complete in adult, but there is a depression in between them. There is a interauricular in embryonic condition. There is small hole is present, but at the adult condition, this hole is then degenerate. Only there is a depression is present. It is called as a fossa ovalis, and at the embryonic condition, it is called as a foramen ovale. So this is the heart of rabbit. So we see in the diagram. So bird and mammal. In bird and mammal, there is a precaval vein directly open into the right auricle. This is the postcaval vein. This is the right, and these are guarded by wall. It is called as a Eustachian wall. So right auricle. This is the left auricle. In this left auricle, there is an opening of pulmonary vein, which collect blood from the lung. And this side, only left side, auricle and ventricle, there is a presence of pure blood, and right side presence of impure blood. So these are the oxygenated, deoxygenated blood is blood is separated by a partition. In auricle, it is called interauricular septum, and by also ventricle, it is called as interventricular septum. In between them, there is a wall. So one side bicuspid wall, one side tricuspid wall, and these are there is a formation of aortic trunk. There are in system. Last time we discussed only two aorta is present. Ventral aorta converted into two aorta. One is the pulmonary aorta, and another one is the systemic aorta. In bird, it is left side. In bird, it is right systemic aorta, and in mammal, it is left systemic aorta. And like this way, these are the circulated blood. So this blood collected by precaval and postcaval open into the right auricle. This open into the right ventricle. From right ventricle, blood is collected towards the pulmonary trunk for purification. In right auricle, opening of pulmonary veins, blood is pure blood. Then transferred towards the left ventricle. From this left ventricle, blood is collected from the aortic trunk and supplied to the all body parts. So these are the four-chambered heart, and in this also double circulation. In blood circulation is double circulation. We start from the single circulation up to the last into the double circulation. We see description. What is the meaning of four-chambered heart? In bird and mammal have completely divided ventricle, so that heart is completely four-chambered, means two auricle, two ventricle. Left auricle receives aerated or oxygenated blood from the lungs, pours into the left ventricle, which pumps it to entire body through systemic circulation. So it is present in bird right side, in mammal left side. Right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the returning from the body, passes it to right ventricle, which pumps it to lungs for purification. Thus there is a double circulation. What is the meaning of double circulation? There is no mixing of blood, oxygenated, deoxygenated blood at all. Such a heart is known as pulmonary heart. Sinus venosus is completely absent. Sinus venosus present in only up to the reptile, but it is completely incorporated into the right auricle, means precaval, postcaval separately open into the right auricle. Right auricle directly receives to precaval and postcaval. The union of sinus into right auricle, in some cases it is marked externally by a groove, it is called as a sulcus terminalis, and internally by crista terminalis. So right auricle, there is a union of sinus with right auricle. In some cases it is marked externally by a groove, it is called sulcus terminalis, and internally by muscular ridge, it is called crista terminalis. Left auricle receives blood directly through pulmonary aorta and leaving the right ventricle for lungs, and single systemic aorta leaving the left ventricle. The blood from the walls of heart, it is brought to auricle by coronary sinus in the right auricle. The opening of sinus is guarded by a valve, it is called coronary valve or Thepsian valve. Interauricular septum is complete in adult, but there is a depression, fine depression, fossa ovalis is present, in which moves the site of foramen ovale. In fish or in some there are present in dipni fish, there is a foramen ovale hole between the auricle in septum. So interauricular septum is complete in adult, but fine depression fossa ovalis is present, which moves the site of foramen ovale. This fossa ovale is surrounded by prominent ridge, it is called annulus ovalis. So these are the questions asked on this MCQ. Interauricular septum complete depression, what is called fossa ovalis, then which moves depression called foramen ovale, like this one. Then valve of the coronary sinus, what is called Thepsian valve. These are questions asked on the MCQ type. So I can repeat this again. First one. So this is the, I can repeat this. Introduction, evolution of heart. In heart, it is built in accordance with the basic architectural plan. It is sac-like muscular organ comprising a series of chambers that receives blood from the veins. So blood is collected from veins and transferred towards the arteries, and these are supplied to the all body parts. So the heart is showing there are types of heart: single chambered heart, double chambered, two chambered heart, three chambered heart, four chambered heart. So these are the some protochordates or primitive chordate, there is a presence of single chambered heart. For example, in the cephalochordata, in example, branchiostoma or amphioxus, true heart is absent. Instead, there is a part of ventral aorta below pharynx. It becomes muscular and contractile, which is called as a heart. So true heart is absent, only muscular contractile part, it is called as a heart. Then how it is modified from the primitive chordate to the higher chordate, from cephalochord means amphioxus to the mammal. So in embryonic condition, only cardiac tube is present, and this tube then divided by, or it is forms chambers due to the constriction, and each chamber then divides into the two separate chambers due to the partition formation. Then in fishes, heart is present near to the head, and then in amphibian also present near to the head. But it then formation of neck region, this transfer towards the thoracic cavity. Then two-chambered heart. For example, in Petromyzon, myxine, there is a linear or in single line heart is present. So this presence of this part chamber, sinus venosus, auricle, ventricle, then also small conus arteriosus, and blood is flow through this sequence: sinus venosus to auricle, auricle to ventricle, ventricle to the conus arteriosus. Then in fish are there are two orders: elasmobranch and teleo, bony fish. In elasmobranch, for example, in Scalidon, heart is S-shaped, and only there are two chambers are present. So we see in the diagram first. So this is the heart of dogfish. So these auricle and ventricle, these are the only two chambers, and sinus venosus and this is the conus arteriosus, these are the accessory chambers. So this heart, the sinus venosus, it is formation of sinus, hepatic sinus and cardinal veins, and there is a formation of this sinus venosus. Sinus venosus opens into the auricle by sino-auricular aperture, and this is the auricle which is thin, elastic in nature. This auricle open into the ventricle by auriculo-ventricular valve, and then this ventricle is thick in nature and muscular. This ventricle then open into the conus arteriosus. In conus arteriosus, this leads to the next part, it is called as a ventral aorta. From this ventral aorta, there are aortic arches. So this divide into the afferent collect blood to the gills. From the gills, these are called efferent. So this is the lateral view of the Scalidon heart. It is S-shaped structure. So, and this collected blood is the impure blood. Impure blood, sinus venosus to auricle, auricle to ventricle, ventricle to conus arteriosus, then ventral aorta. And this, so impure blood is present only in the heart. So this heart is called venous heart. So these are the dorsal and ventral views. So this is the sinus venosus, two sides cardinal vein, and there are also hepatic sinus venosus is formed, opens into the auricle, auricle to conus, conus to ventral aorta. This is the ventral view: ventricle, auricle, conus, and ventral. So we see description. In addition to this, there are two more chambers, namely sinus venosus and conus arteriosus. These chambers are not true chambers, but they are accessory chambers of true heart. Only oxygenated blood pass to the through two-chambered heart. The blood enters through sinus venosus and leaves the heart through the conus arteriosus. This blood is from heart is carried toward the gills for oxygenation or purification. And this type of circulation is called single type of circulation. So means all blood pass only once through heart, and this heart is called venous heart. The next one is the bony fishes. So conus is much reduced in bony fishes. For example, in rohu, this example, only there is a, in dogfish, 3 pairs of semilunar valve, and in these bony fishes, single pair of semilunar valve. So conus become greatly enlarged with thick muscular walls. It is called bulbous arteriosus, and it is elastic, inflates like a balloon when the ventricle contracts. We see in the also diagram. So this is the fish, dogfish. This formation of common sinus venosus, hepatic sinus and cardinal. Formation of sinus venosus open into the auricle. It is thin, elastic, opens into the ventricle. It is guarded by auriculoventricular valve. Ventricle, it is muscular, and opens into the conus arteriosus. In this there are valves, 3 valves, and this opens into the ventral aorta. So it is found in the Scalidon or dogfish, and this is the bony fish. So sinus venosus open posteriorly into the right or only auricle to ventricle. There is a valve. Ventricle, it is also thick, and only single pair of valve is present. And this thick muscular bulbous aorta and opens in bulbous arteriosus. When ventricle contract, inflates like a balloon and is connect to the ventral aorta. So this is the found in the fish, single circulation and 2 chambers only, auricle and ventricle. Conus and sinus venosus, these are the accessory chambers. But in the dipnoi fish, there is in dipnoi there are 3 chambered heart. In dipnoid, amphibia and reptile, there is 3 chambered heart. So sinus venosus open right side, and there is a formation of new pulmonary circulation. So because these animals are presence of gills, not lung. But in this start, there is a lung fishes. Lungs are formed, and terrestrial, some of in also water and some in also land. So there is a pulmonary circulation is formed. Sinus venosus open into the right auricle. Then pulmonary vein collect blood from the lung, open into the left auricle. This side there is a pure blood, and this side there is a impure blood. In between auricle there is auricular septum, but it is not complete. There is a hole, foramen ohe. Due to this, there is a mixed blood supply. In ventricle also there is a interauricular septum is also incomplete. Then conus arteriosus consisting valves, semilunar valves, and this opens into the ventral aorta, which lateral side gives the aortic arches. These are found. So 3 chambered, 2 auricles are present, but incomplete ventricle and incomplete auricular septum and incomplete ventricular septum. In this side also, in amphibia there is an order Anura, Urodila. There is a formation of 2 auricle and 1 ventricle. In this side, right side, there is a sinus venosus. How it is formed? Precaval and postcaval. So this precaval, postcaval together form sinus venosus. This collect blood from the posterior side of the body, and this open into deoxygenated blood, and this carry blood towards the right auricle. Then pure blood or oxygenated blood, which is collected by lung, this lung pulmonary vein open into the left auricle. So one side right auricle impure blood, one side there is a pure blood, and some there is a mixed blood. In between the ventricle there is a no partition, and muscular ventricle is present, and conus arteriosus, it is called bulbous arteriosus, and they directly transfer this aortic arches. We see description. 3-chambered heart or transitional heart. In dipnoi, in amphibia, in reptile, for example, in the crocodile, heart consists of 3 chambers, namely 2 auricle and 1 ventricle. 2 auricles separated by interauricular septum. But in dipnoi, lung fishes, interauricular septum, which is consisting perforated by a hole, it is called foramen ohe. This is the result in a mixing of oxygenated blood, which is received from lung, from the left auricle, and deoxygenated blood from the rest of the body into right auricle. So mixed blood, it is present in this. Interventricular septum divides the ventricle in some only. New pulmonary circulation develop, aerated blood from the lung. Then in amphibian heart, it is advanced than the fish heart. Sinus venosus opens into the right atrium, instead posteriorly. Interauricular septum is complete, and due to this interauricular septum, oxygenated, deoxygenated blood is separate. Ventricle is single, but it is thick muscular, and this muscular wall raised into the trabeculae, permitting only little mixing of true blood, means oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Then in frog from left ventricle on its anterolateral margins, there is a conus or truncus arteriosus arises, which is divided by a spiral wall, which direct deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary vessel and oxygenated blood into the systemic vessel. The luminous conus arteriosus is called phalangium, occupied by spiral wall. The spiral wall attached to the walls of conus dorsally, free at the other three places. This lumen of conus arteriosus divided into two chambers, pulmocutaneum and cavum aorticum. We see in this diagram. Next diagram. So this is the diagram in the bird and mammal. So this is the amphibia frog. So what sinus venosus, it is for precaval and postcaval, open into the right side, right auricle. Then left side pulmonary opens into the left auricle, and there is complete separation of auricle, complete interauricular septum, and this right auricle open into the right side ventricle, left auricle open into the left side ventricle, and these are guarded by a wall, auriculoventricular wall. Then this ventricle is thick muscular. It's showing conus arteriosus, and in between them there is a spiral wall is present. And this lumen of spiral wall, it is called as a phalangium. And this direct the pulmocutaneum, and also cavum aorticum. So these are found in the three-chambered heart, two auricle, one ventricle. And this ventricular walls are also muscular. It's showing trabecular and little mixing of this blood, and this mixed blood supplied to the all body parts. Next one is the reptile. In reptile also three-chambered heart. Sinus venosus opened into the dorsally on the right auricle. Then left side there is a pulmonary vein opens left side, and in between them complete partition in auricle, interauricular septum. But in ventricle there is a muscular ridge is formed, chordae tendineae. These are present, and due to this mixing of blood, and mixed blood is supplied. So in right side, complete right side, there is a right auricle, right ventricle, there is a impure blood. This impure blood carried from right ventricle opening of left aortic trunk, and also one of the aorta, it is called pulmonary trunk. This aorta carry towards the blood lung for purification. In the left side, left side there is a right aortic trunk. So this mixed blood is supplied to the all body parts. In the crocodile there is a presence of complete partition in the auricle and also ventricle. So, but there is a, when this aortic trunk cross each other, in that there is a, in between them there is a hole, and this, due to this hole there is a mixed blood, and in mixed blood is formed. Oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is mixed and then transferred towards the all body parts, and this hole is called foramen panizza. So it is found in the crocodile. So in crocodile there is a complete four-chambered heart, but it is also called transitional heart, in between two-chambered and also four-chambered heart. In bird and mammal, so there is a complete separation, auricle and ventricle, also complete separation of oxygenated, deoxygenated blood. And right side, these are the valves are called Thepsian, Eustachian valve. Auricle, right side and left auricle. Left side there is a pure blood. Right side also impure blood. And these are valves are called tricuspid and bicuspid. Left side it is called bicuspid, and right side it is called tricuspid. And complete separation of ventricle and also auricle. So in auricle it is interauricular septum, and in ventricle it is called interventricular septum. Only one systemic aorta is present, and only one pulmonary trunk is present. Pulmonary trunk collect blood, impure blood from the right ventricle, and there is a, in this also there is a valve is present, collect and poured into the lungs for purification. and this systemic aorta collect blood. Also there is a fall is present, semilunar fall, and aortic trunk supply to, it is a posterior side as a dorsal aorta supply towards the all body parts. So also heart, from heart blood is collected, it is called coronary sinus, and fall is called coronary fall. Then also in embryonic condition there is some in auricle there is a fossa ovalis. Only embryonic condition there is a hole is present, but in adult there is a depression is present. It is called also fossa ovalis. So these are the sulcus terminalis, crista terminalis. These are found only in the mammal. So in mammal the sinus venosus is absent, and there is all these veins are separately open, and these are open directly into the right auricle, and these are guarded by wall. It is called as a Eustachian wall. So these are found in the bird and mammal. So in bird, four-chambered heart, and mammal also four-chambered heart. Only there is a systemic aorta or aorta trunk in bird right side, and in mammal left side. Like this way we complete this evolution of heart. समजलं का रे? हॅलो,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
लक्षात आलं का? डायग्राम तुम्हाला ज्या हार्टच्या मी दाखवल्यात ना, त्या उलट्या डायग्राम त्या दाखवायच्या, म्हणजे सोपं जाते समजायला. आता यात काय शंका आहे का सांगा मला?
नाही मॅम.
सर्वांना व्यवस्थित समजले? ह्या ज्या उलट्या डायग्राम आहेत त्यात एक्झाम मध्ये फक्त काढायच्या. आता मी दुसऱ्या तुम्हाला समजण्यासाठी दाखवल्या ना, हार्ट ऑफ लिझार्ड, हार्ट ऑफ हे स्कॉलिडॉन वगैरे, ह्या काढायची गरज नाही. फक्त तुम्हाला
म्हणजे त्या 4 एकत्र डायग्राम आहेत त्या ना मिस?
हा, वरच्या 4. वरच्या समजा आता विचारलं असेल कम्पेअर बिटवीन दिस फिश अँड अँफिबिया, तर फिशची ती उलटी डायग्राम ती एक दाखवायची, अँफिबियाची एक दाखवायची, तेवढंच दाखवायचं. आता हे बघा, आता ही डायग्राम आहे ना, ही डायग्राम दाखवायची नाही. आता समोर दिसते ना तुम्हाला, ह्या डायग्राम दाखवायच्या. हा, त्यातल्या कुठल्या दाखवायच्या? ह्या उलट्या ज्या डायग्राम आहेत, हे बघा, ह्या समोरच्या डायग्राम, ह्या समजा आता इथे अँफिबिया इथं दिलं असेल, अँफिबिया कम्पेअर विथ दी मॅमल, किंवा रेप्टाईल कम्पेअर विथ दी अँफिबिया, हे दिलं असेल तर समोरासमोर अशा पहिल्यांदा डायग्राम काढायच्या अशा, आणि त्याच्या खाली परत मग हार्ट वरती लेअर कुठला असते, पेरिकार्डियम, फ्लुइड कसं कुठला असते, किती चेंबर असतात, पार्टिशन आहे का नाही का, तो चार्ट आता मी गेल्यावर कसा तुम्हाला ब्रेनचा दिला होता, तो आता पुढच्या लेक्चरच्या वेळेला आपण ते तुम्ही हे बघून, आता तुम्ही फोटो वगैरे काढलेले आहेत का?
मॅम आपल्या ह्याचा प्रेझेंटीचा स्क्रीनशॉट मारून ठेवलाय मी.
हा, आणि
ह्याचा काढू का एक फोटो?
मी टायटल हे करते मग काढ.
त्याचा टायटलचा काढलाय मॅम फोटो.
होय, मग डायग्रामचा 4 उलट्या डायग्राम आहे त्याचा काढतेस का बघ?
हा, काढते.
थांबा, हा, ह्याचा काढ, ह्या काढून ठेव. आणि आता ह्याच्या सगळ्यांच्या ज्या ज्या तुमच्या नोट्स आहेत त्या आता सरांनी काहीतरी सांगितलं, गुगल क्लासरूम काहीतरी तयार करणार आहे. त्यावरती सगळ्या नोट्स मी तुम्हाला देते.
ओके मॅम, हो चालेल.
आणि आता काय
एक्झामला मॅम 5 युनिट वर आहे ना सगळं?
एक्झाम मध्ये ब्रेन आणि हार्ट वरती जास्त विचारतात, कारण हे 4 हे ॲनिमल 5 आले तिकडचे ॲनिमल, आणि एकमेकाला फक्त कमी. समजा हार्ट फिश आणि रेप्टाईल दिला असेल तर तिकडे काय करतात, अँफिबिया आणि मॅमल. म्हणजे ब्रेन जर वेगळा विचारला असेल कम्पेअर करण्यासाठी तर इकडं हार्ट वेगळं, पण कंपल्सरी क्वेश्चन 20 मार्क्सचा असतोय त्याच्यावर.
नाही मॅम, आता म्हणजे सप्टेंबर एंडला MCQ ची एक्झाम होणार आहे ना?
हा, आता माझे नाहीत युनिट, त्यात पहिल्या दुसऱ्या युनिट वरती आहेत ना क्वेश्चन ते आता.
ओके ओके.
हा, म्हणजे माझं त्यात नाहीये, नंतर ह्याच्यावरची होणार आहे, मात्र नंतर होणार आहे.
हा, मग ती सेकंड युनिट टेस्ट आपली थेरी वरती असते ना थोडी.
हा हा, मग आता आपलं कसं होतंय हे बघूया आपण, त्यानुसार घेऊया. मग MCQ सांगितले तर MCQ पण माझे तयार आहेत, ती पाहिजे तर ती टेस्ट घेऊया. त्याच्या अगोदर तुम्हाला सगळ्या नोट्स मी तुम्हाला देते. आता आपलं कम्प्लीट काय काय झाले बघा. पहिला आहे तो अवॉर्टिक आर्चेस, ह्यातलंच युनिट आहे ते. अवॉर्टिक आर्चेस झालेले आहे, हार्ट झाले, नंतर अजून एक काय घेतले मी, ब्रेन घेतलाय, मेन जे फुल क्वेश्चनला जे क्वेश्चन विचारतात ते कम्प्लीट झालेले आहे आपलं. आता राहिले फक्त शॉर्ट नोटचे, म्हणजे सेल्स ऑर्गन्स आणि किडनी पण कशा शॉर्ट नोटलाच विचारतात, कंपॅरिझनला विचारत नाही. आता या दोन्हीमध्ये ब्रेन आणि हार्ट मध्ये काही शंका असेल तर तुम्ही मला सांगा, म्हणजे परत मी एकदा तुम्हाला पाहिजे तर रिपीट करेन. काय शंका असेल तर सांगा. ह्यामध्ये काय आहे का शंका? आता
नाही मॅम.
सगळ्यांना समज.
नो
हा,
मॅम. मॅम आता सेकंड लेक्चर होणार आहे.
सेकंड आता होतच आले की, आता मीच तेच म्हणते तुम्हाला, तुम्हाला काय शंका असतील तुम्ही परत हे करते. सेकंड नाही होणार मग आता,
नाही होणार ना?
मीच हे रन करते पुढे थोडा वेळ आता.
बर बर.
मॅम ह्याच्यावर क्वेश्चन कंपॅरेटिव्ह मध्येच येणार ना, हार्ट मधून?
कंपॅरेटिव्ह, हा, कम्पेअर हार्ट विथ एम्फिबिया विथ मॅमल किंवा रेप्टाईल विथ बर्ड असं क्वेश्चन विचारतात. म्हणजे
ओके मॅम.
हा, म्हणजे किती चेंबर आहेत, नंतर पार्टिशन आहे का, हॉल कुठल्या कुठल्या आहेत, व्हेंट्रिकल कसं आहे, कोनस अवॉर्ट आहे का, सिस्टम अवॉर्ट आहे का, कसा डेव्हलप होत गेलाय. आता पहिल्यांदा अवॉर्टिक आर्चेस किती होते? 6 पैकी नंतर किती राहिल्या? मॅमल पर्यंत येईपर्यंत किती राहिल्या? फक्त 2च. पल्मोनरी अवॉर्टिक दिसते का? वेंट्रल अवॉर्टा फक्त 2 वर राहिला ना. सुरुवातीला किती एम्ब्रियोनिक कंडिशन मध्ये किती होत्या? 6 होत्या. 6 पासून ते रिडक्शन झाले की नाही अवॉर्टिक आर्चेस, तसं हार्ट मध्ये डेव्हलपमेंट झाली. aortic arches number decreases, but heart, these are developed. Single circulation, double circulation, नंतर सिंगल टू डबल, ठीक नाही. सिंगल हार्ट झाला, नंतर डबल हार्ट झाला, डबल किंवा 2 चेंबर हार्ट. आता फर्स्ट चेंबर कुठला सांगा बघू? सिंगल चेंबर एकच आहे मला, लोअर कॉर्डेट किंवा प्रिमिटिव्ह एम्पिऑक्सस. त्यामध्ये ट्रू हार्ट अपसेट. त्यामध्ये काय आहे? फक्त मस्क्युलर पार्ट आहे आणि तो कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट आहे म्हणून त्याला हार्ट म्हणतात, ट्रू हार्ट अपसेट. आता डबल सर्क्युलर हे 2 चेंबर हार्ट कुठलं आलं? फिश कोणते? देन डॉग फिश अँड बोनी फिश किंवा इलॅस्मो ब्रांच अँड बोनी फिश किंवा लेबिओ वगैरे आपण म्हणतो त्यामध्ये. आता डबल 2 चेंबर्ड हार्ट म्हणजे कुठले आले? आता ह्या डायग्राम मध्ये तुम्हाला परत हे करते मी, सांगते. दिसते 2 चेंबर्ड हार्ट, ऑरिकल व्हेंट्रिकल समोर दिसते का तुम्हाला? इलॅस्मो ब्रांच म्हटलंय बघा, आणि बोनी फिश आहे, दिसते का समोर सगळ्यांना? हॅलो, दिसते का समोर? हा. आता ऑरिकल व्हेंट्रिकल, these are the true chambers, आणि सायनस व्हेनोसस आणि कोनस आर्टेरियोस, these are the accessory organs. आता इलॅस्मो ब्रांच, इट इज ए कलेक्टेड ब्लड, इज दी इम्प्युअर ब्लड. आता एकदाच इथून जाते बघा ब्लड, सायनस व्हेनोसस टू ऑरिकल, ऑरिकल टू व्हेंट्रिकल, व्हेंट्रिकल टू कोनस, कोनस टू व्हेंट्रल अवॉर्टा, आणि नंतर परत हे अवॉर्टिक आर्चेस मध्ये, होय की नाही? हे ब्लड जे आहे ते कसलं आहे? इम्प्युअर ब्लड आहे. त्यामुळे ह्याला हार्ट काय म्हणतात? व्हेनस हार्ट. आणि सर्क्युलेशन एकदाच ब्लड हे जाते, परत येत नाही, त्यामुळे याला सिंगल सर्क्युलेशन म्हणतात. इकडं पण तसंच आहे, इथं मात्र फक्त कोनस मध्ये, कोनसच्या ऐवजी काय? बल्बस आर्टेरियोस झालं. इकडे काय? डिप्नॉय मध्ये आता लंग फिश, लंग फॉर्म झालेला आहे, त्यामुळे इथं नवीन सर्क्युलेशन तयार होते. कुठलं? पल्मोनरी सर्क्युलेशन. आणि पल्मोन लंग प्युरिफाय केलेले ब्लड कुठं आणलं जाते? लेफ्ट साइड. इथे किती चेंबर झाले बघा? हे सर्क्युलेशन हे झाले यामध्ये, हे 3 चेंबर्ड हार्ट मध्ये आलं. हे डबल 2, इथं 2 चेंबर्ड आलं हार्ट, हे 3 चेंबर्ड. कुठलं? डिप्नॉय, एम्फिबिया मध्ये युरोडिलिया, अनुरा, हे 3 चेंबर्ड. का 3 चेंबर्ड म्हटले? ऑरिकल कंप्लीट आहे का? नाही, यामध्ये मिक्स्ड ब्लड आहे यामध्ये. हे तर कॉल्व आहे त्या, आलं लक्षात? बरं, किती वेळ राहिलाय ग?
20 मिनिटं.
होय. तर आता तुम्ही कोणी कम्पेअर करताय का? एखादं सांगा बघू मला, कोणीतरी एखादं सांगा त्या डायग्राम वरून, मी ऐकते, तुम्ही कम्पेअर करा.
हॅलो.
हा,
हॅलो. मॅम टायटलचं रिप्रेझेंटेशन दाखवा ना, टायटल पेजचं स्क्रीनशॉट नाही काढला मॅम.
होय.
थँक्यू मॅम.
काय शंका आहे का तुमच्या आता या?
नो मॅम.
कोण कम्पेअर करते का सांगा बघू मला. आता हे समोर जे डायग्राम दिलेले आहेत एकानं कुणीतरी कम्पेअर करा. पाहिजे तर हा सांगा, इलॅस्मो ब्रांच आणि युरोडिले ह्यातलं सांगा बघू. आता ह्या दोन आणि ह्या दोन कुणाला सांगता येते? कम्पेअर कसं करणार सांगा. समजलंय ना तुम्हाला? अरे सांगा ना, किती चेंबर्ड हार्ट आहे हे? फिश मधले किती चेंबर्ड हार्ट आहे?
सिंगल चेंबर्ड हार्ट आहे.
सिंगल यात कसं आलं? 2 चेंबर्ड हार्ट आलं ना.
हा,
सिंगल
2
फक्त
चेंबर.
एम्पिऑक्सिस मध्ये
chamber
फक्त हा 2 चेंबर कुठले? ऑरिकल, व्हेंट्रिकल हे फक्त ट्रू, आणि हे ते कोनस आणि हे सायनस वेनस हे असेसरी चेंबर्स आहेत. आता हे फेनस हार्ट का म्हणतात त्याला? इट कलेक्ट ओनली वन्स venous or impure blood and transfer towards the ventral aorta, so it is called venous heart. नंतर यामध्ये काय काय आहे? सायनस वेनोसिस कसा तयार झाला? हिपॅटिक सायनस, कॉमन कार्डिनल, देयर इज अ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ सायनस वेनोसिस. सायनस वेनोसिस कुठे ओपन होतोय? ऑरिकल मध्ये. ओपनिंगला काय म्हणतात? सायना ऑरिक्युलर अपर्चर. नंतर ऑरिकल, ऑरिकल कसं आहे? थिन इलास्टिक. Auricle open into the ventricle by wall, it is called auriculoventricular wall. Aperture opening ला काय म्हणतात? auriculoventricular aperture. नंतर ventricle, it is thick muscular which open into the conus arteriosus. Conus arteriosus elongated it is, and it's showing a consisting wall, 3 pairs of wall. These are called semilunar wall, and this conus arteriosus connected to the ventral aorta. This ventral aorta showing lateral side aortic arches. आता इथं ह्याच्याशी कम्पेअर समजा हे केलं आपण एम्फिबियाशी केलं, इथं काय ना सायनस वेनोसिस कसा तयार झाला? प्री कॅव्हल आणि पोस्ट कॅव्हल, दीज आर ओपन इन टू दी राईट ऑरिकल. इथं आता या साईडला आहे का राईट लेफ्ट असं काय आहे का? काहीच नाही. या बाजूला फक्त राईट साईडला आहे राईट ऑरिकल, लेफ्ट साईडला लेफ्ट ऑरिकल. नवीन सर्क्युलेशन तयार झाले. कुठलं का झालंय? पल्मोनरी सर्क्युलेशन. व्हाय इट इज फॉर्म? इट इज प्रेझेन्स ऑफ लंग. फ्रॉम द लंग प्युअर ब्लड इज कलेक्टेड अँड poured into the left side of the auricle by pulmonary vein. आता इथं ऑरिकल मध्ये सेप्टम आहे का? आहे, मात्र कंप्लीट आहे का? नाही. इनकम्प्लीट इंटर ऑरिक्युलर सेप्टम. ऑरिकल्स आर right auricle, left auricle is present. Right auricle there is a presence of impure blood, and left auricle presence of प्युअर ब्लड. आता इथं पण ओपनिंग सारखेच आहे. ऑरिक्युलो व्हेंट्रिक्युलर अपर्चर वॉल हे सारखेच आहे सगळे. व्हेंट्रिकल सारखंच आहे, पार्टिशन नाही आहे यामध्ये. आणि इथं बल्बस आर्टेरियोसस आणि ह्या अवॉर्टिक आर्चेस. असं फक्त कम्पेअर करत जायचंय. आणि लक्षात समजलं का रे?
येस मॅम.
हा, करू का बंद मी? मला पण आता कंटाळा बोलून.
हो.
दोन्ही लेक्चर झाले असं समजा.
ओके.
आणि दोन्ही लेक्चरचे म्हणजे आता मला स्क्रीनशॉट काढून दे मग.
हो मॅम, देते, सेंड करते तुम्हाला.
बर बर, चालते. आता मी हे करते का? तुम्हाला काय कुणाला शंका असेल तर विचारा, काय बोलायचं असेल तर बोला. 1-5 मिनिट. मुलं कोण आहेत का नाही रे तुमच्या बरोबर?
आहेत की मॅम. निरंजन आहे, अभिजित आहे.
बोलत काय नाही, काहीच नाही. आहे का नाही कळत नाही का? जोडून जातात कुठं
संतोष
फिरायला?
आहे.
हा,
अजून एक कोणतरी, त्याचं नाव नाही आठवतंय. शिंगटे कोणतरी, सागर शिंगटे बहुतेक.
होय. बर, आता ह्याची मी तुम्हाला नोट्स आता सरांनी जर तयार केल्या ना, हे आपले आता ह्या नोट्स तुम्हाला शॉर्ट नोट साठी. समजा आता विचारलं डबल 2 चेंबर्ड हार्ट, तर शॉर्ट नोट देता येईल, मात्र फुल क्वेश्चन तसा लिहिता येणार नाही. फुल क्वेश्चन कसा आपण ब्रेनला लिहिलेला का नाही,
हा हा
फोर ब्रेनचे कसं लिहिले तसं ह्याला लिहायला लागणार
ओके
चार्टनुसार. हा फक्त शॉर्ट नोट साठी डबल सर्क्युलेशन हार्ट, पल्मोनरी हार्ट असं जर विचारलं तर तुम्हाला ते पल्मोनरी हार्ट म्हणजे कुठलं आलं, हे बर्ड आणि मॅमल ते आलं. नंतर ट्रान्झिशनल हार्ट म्हणजे कुठलं आलं, क्रोकोडाईल. अशी शॉर्ट नोट विचारतात. मात्र फुल क्वेश्चन विचारतात तो कंपॅरिझन फिश मॅमल, फिश अँफिबिया किंवा रेप्टाईल अँफिबिया असे कंपॅरिझन विचारतात. मग ते प्रत्येक सायनस वेनोसिस कसा तयार झाला, ऑरिकल किती आहे, पार्टिशन आहे का, थिक आहे का थिन आहे, हे सगळं प्रत्येकाचं वेगळं वेगळं असं 15 पॉईंट जसे ब्रेनला लिहिलेले की नाही तुम्ही तसे यामध्ये पॉईंट लिहायला लागणार आहे. एक 10-15 पॉईंट असणार आहे. मी ते पुढच्या वेळेला तुम्हाला ते दाखवते ते.
20 मार्क्स मॅडम ना?
20 हा नाही 10 मार्क्सला फुल क्वेश्चन. मग त्यात निदान 15 तरी पॉईंट तुमचे. डायग्रामला समजा 4 मार्क गेले तर 6 मार्क्स तुम्हाला लिखाणाला. आता ह्याला डायग्राम छोटे छोटे त्यामुळे डायग्रामला मार्क कमी जाणार आणि लिखाणाला जास्त मार्क जाणार. 8 मार्क किंवा 7 मार्क्स लिखाणाला जाणार, कारण डायग्राम दोनच आहे. समजा आता बोनी फिश आणि डिपनाय फिश म्हटलं किंवा बोनी फिश आणि अँफिबिया म्हटलं तर ह्या डायग्राम बघा छोटे छोटे डायग्राम लगेच होतात. मग ह्याला मार्क किती आले, 3. राहिलेले सगळे मार्क्स आले डिस्क्रिप्शन साठी. आले लक्षात? पुढच्या वेळेला एकदा फक्त आपण चार्ट हे करूया आणि नंतर परत मी तुम्हाला नोट्स आहेत त्या मी देते. कसं लिहायचं आहे क्वेश्चन त्याचा फोटो काढून मी तेजू तुझ्या ह्याच्यावर ते टाकते मी. तुम्ही मात्र एकमेकांना द्या. हा बर करू बंद मग. झालेत आता 5-10 मिनिटं राहिली. हे करते मी.
हो मॅम. ओके
हा
पाठवते
ओके बाय.
तुम्हाला मी सगळं.
हा हा ओके बाय.
ओके बाय बाय टेक केअर.
बाय. हा टेक केअर.